Parents, what is a rule that you never thought you would have to create, let alone enforce? Story 1. No peeking through the cat door at whoever is in the bathroom. When playing cat or dog, do not use belts or strings around your siblings' necks. In fact, we banned belts altogether because this rule didn't like to be followed. Don't jump in puddles while waiting for the school bus, and especially don't on school picture day. Please. The curtains are not meant for swinging on. We have a swing set in the backyard for this purpose. Rule for my husband, make sure curtain rods are screwed into studs. Don't open the stove for any reason, and don't put anything in there unless you are over 12 years old. Adults, please check the stove before turning it on and remove any items you may have found to prevent fire. Pants are required if you want to play outside. Shirts are also appreciated, although not required. Don't use the bathroom sink drain as a hiding place for your things. And lastly, if you find a cell phone laying around, leave it there and summon a parent. Don't throw it into the kitchen sink. Thanks. Why is there a cat door for the bathroom? I mean, I know about the entire cats like to watch you pee thing, but why are you aiding this behavior? Good place for a litter box. Story 2. Do not write on the side of the car with a rock. Seriously, I've seen pictures of kids who did that, but man, at least she wrote I love you. My brother wrote on the side of the car with a hockey stick. When my mom was asking who did, he denied it up and down, left and right. Wasn't he? Only problem was, he wrote his name. Possible frame job. My boyfriend spray painted the neighbor kid's name when he vandalized. Never got caught either. He was like 12 at the time. No, I'm not dumping him over it. No pooping in the tub. I think we all know why I had to enact that rule. For Pete's sake, Tommy. We have ground rules for bath time that have been in place since my son was 1. Rule number 1, no pooping in the tub. Rule number 2, don't get daddy wet. Rule number 3, don't drink the bath water. Rule number 4, always remember rule number 1. He's 5 now and can still recite all the rules. My son has all the same rules. Also included is no cats in the tub. Story 3. Not a parent, but my sister has a lot of rules for my youngest niece, who's 8. I don't know all of them, but a few I had to enforce when I was watching her and her older sister were no climbing on the rails of the ferry boat, not on the inside of the boat, and absolutely not on the outside of the boat. I swear this kid is absolutely fearless, and it scares the crap out of me. Another one is to not pick up anything off the ground. She's not sure what it is, or what could happen if she picks it up. I took her to the beach once, and she was picking up stuff along the waterline. She comes back towards me with a jellyfish in her hands. The conversation went along the lines of, "What do you have in your hands there?" "It's a jellyfish. It was floating in the water." "You shouldn't pick those up. Drop them back in the water right now." "It's burning my hands." "So why are you still holding it? Drop it." "It's so cute, though." Story 4. You have to stay on the toilet until you are completely finished, even if you have something you really, really want to tell someone right now. If you're on the toilet and someone else urgently needs it, just let me finish my chapter is not an acceptable response. No changing the words of songs just because you know it will make your sister cry. My mom used to look through the linen closet into the bathroom to catch me or my brothers reading books. We'd take her long bathroom breaks to skip chores and just read books in the bathroom. It got to a point where my mom would take away books from us as a punishment and knew our hiding spots for the books we kept as backups. In hindsight, it's a good thing none of us were experimenting with ourselves during those bathroom breaks. Story 5. Easy. I have 2 sons. One is 7 and one is 3. I had to enforce a rule for the 3-year-old called no headbutting at the dinner table. No headbutting at the dinner table, for Pete's sake. The 7-year-old is so gentle and timid, and the 3-year-old is an absolute psycho with 0 fear. I'm not sure if it's a youngest child thing or he's just mental. I think you're supposed to leave a little mystery as to who's your favorite. Story time. Dad had a favorite, the middle child, the only daughter. Not me, I'm the eldest son. I'm 13 and I'm in child counseling. Somehow we got him to one of my weekly sessions. I'd gone for about 2 years. He's forced to listen to how my sister is the favorite. He storms out. For the next 11 years, until he passes away, she is his number 1 most hated person. Complete 180. Story 6. Your penis is not a sprinkler. You can't stand when going potty if you're pooping. The first came from my son, standing in a circle and spraying the whole bathroom with pee. He said he wanted to see how many times around he could get before he ran out of pee. The answer is 3. The second came after finding piles of poop covered in toilet paper in front of the toilet. Wow, your son sucks. I can get at least 5 every time. I remember doing something equally stupid when I was very little. For some stupid reason, I wanted to pee on the floor next to the toilet, so I did. I swapped back and forth between the toilet and the floor about 5 times. Just a quick back and forth motion. My parents weren't too pleased about my decision. I wasn't too pleased either when they made me clean up the mess. I had good parents. I never did it again. Story 7. We have so many. Just a few. No pee jars or bottles. Discovered a jar full of pee in the family room closet. Turns out 7-year-old didn't want to go to the bathroom, so he peed in the jar. Discovered bottle in teenager's room. No locking siblings in a closet. No picking anyone up by their ears. No putting siblings in recycling or trash bins. No stickers or suckers on the dog. Also, no waffles on the cat. No putting pancakes between your toes. No banana fights. No jinx. My favorite, I can protect you from your siblings in video games or real life. Pick. We have the no jinx rule too. That just led to too many arguments and tears. For frick's sake, if you can't play it right, you won't play it at all. Story 8. A few of the rules my mom had to create for my sister, the problem child. Don't put pickles in your pockets. No idea what the kid logic was on this one. No stuffing toys in your pant legs. Sister would do this to sneak toys into school. Don't stick gum on the wall behind your bed. Sister had a collection of it back there at one point. It was impossible to enforce this rule effectively. Pretty sure sister still keeps gum on her wall to this day. Empty your pockets before coming into the house. Sister had a habit of picking up anything and everything she saw on the ground and then putting it in her room. There were lots of others. As the relatively clean, relatively normal child, I was pretty much constantly scratching my head at my crazy hoarder sister. Still do. Story 9. Not a parent, but when I was a kid, my parents contacted our neighborhood Blockbuster and told them never to let me rent any crime or gangster movies, period. I used to watch these movies and spout off all the expletive-laden dialogues. Started using the F word around then too. This was when I was 10 or 11. The last straw was when, right after dinner, my dad told me to do something, don't remember what, after which I looked at my mom like I was appalled and said, "You believe this piece of crap?" I watched Trailer Park Boys at around 14 or 15. My parents have always been tolerant of cursing, but when I started throwing the F word around every other word, they finally told me I sound like a freaking idiot. Story 10. Don't bite your toenails. You may only play with your wiener in your own room, not on the living room couch. No dueling in the house. You may not put your little sister in any appliance, including but not limited to the washer, the dryer, the oven, the chest freezer, and the dishwasher. Me and my brother used to play hide and seek. He loved hiding in the dryer. I loved finding him by turning it on. My cat used to nap in the dryer. One day he was in it while I was in a hurry, forgot to check, and turned it on. Thunk, thunk, thunk. I open the door and the poor mustard falls out and runs off. My cat hasn't gotten in that dryer since. Story 11. My daughter has pica. It was hard when she was younger because she put everything in her mouth. It was so bad that I couldn't put her on the floor to explore. As a result, she didn't crawl until she was 15 months old. She ate a bunch of things, but the worst was rocks and several pairs of Barbie doll shoes. The neighbor's daughter was distraught over the shoes and didn't want them back. Her first day at daycare, I warned them about it. She came home with glitter and stickers in her poop. She's almost 14 now. Thank God she outgrew that one. Keep your dirty jokes to yourself, please. Story 13. My kids were playing Harry Potter one day, running around waving wands at each other, when one cast the killing curse on the other. This was followed by an argument and a bunch of yelling, which led to a rule I never thought I'd have to enforce: no dark arts in the house. So I told my mom about this thread and asked if she could think of any such rule. She couldn't. I gave her this one as an example of my favorite. This was her response. I get it, but kids need to explore the dark arts as a means of coming to terms with the existence of evil. She's an educator. I love your mom. Story 14. Don't sit in the toilet. When you're done going potty, call for mom or wipe yourself and get up. Don't slowly sink down into the toilet. I fell once when I was little. I thought I was going to pass away alone inside a toilet, legs up, butt in water. Thank God my mom rescued me. I can only imagine how hilarious that must have looked in retrospect. I've always been very small, and at a very young age, I slipped in once, needing my mom to help me out. When she'd stop laughing, of course. Story 16. No licking the bus. No licking your hand, then touching the bus, then licking your hand. No licking your hand, touching the bus, then putting your finger in mama's ear. No licking mama's hand. No licking mama's ear. In fact, if we could just put a moratorium on licking things, that would be super. He's not quite 2. He licks. You got a wet willy from a 1-year-old? Impressive. He's very advanced. He's gross at a 3rd grade level. Story 17. No haunting the neighbors. My daughter used to think it was hilarious to whisper weird crap into the vents of our apartment building. Things like, "You have dishonored your ancestors. That's disgusting. Stop it. The cat wants gravy." One of our elderly neighbors thought she really was a ghost, whispering to him. This is awesome. She has an amazing sense of humor. "You have dishonored your ancestors." I'm crying from laughter. Holy crap, that is good stuff. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of this video and have a wonderful day. Story 18. There is no playing of Gloria Estefan's Rhythm Is Gonna Get You in my house because my son somehow became terrified of a monster called the Rhythmus and his constant fear that the Rhythmus is gonna get him. No BS. There is no place to hide. It comes at night. The Rhythmus is gonna get him. Story 19. My brother had to make up this rule: jerk with Jergens. My nephew is a really straight-laced kid, and he was terrified his parents would notice if he started blasting through their lotion, so he'd fap dry. This caused severe chafing and blisters on his wiener. My brother had to sit him down and explain, "Hey, it's normal to touch yourself. Just use some lotion in the future." Does he have hands made from sandpaper? Story 20. My own example of this would be while on holiday, my brother had to bring in a rule of no crossbows to be fired in a moving car. What about out of a moving car? I mean, sometimes you gotta do a drive-by on a Renaissance festival. "Forsooth, I've been struck." Horse and carriage quickly gallops away. "I doth thank thee for bestowing thine gold on me." Story 21. No licking the parrot and no putting her head inside your mouth and calling it a vacation. My kid is so weird. That's a very well-behaved parrot. Putting her head inside your mouth and calling it a vacation? I'm crying with laughter. Your kid has an interesting mind. Story 22. No robots in the kitchen. Needed so I don't trip again over some remote-controlled or autonomous critter while I'm working with knives or boiling liquids. What is my purpose? You pass butter. I don't allow any kind of BS in the kitchen. If the kids keep it up, I'll get a little graphic. Get out of here unless you want to cook your own face. Story 23. Not a parent, but a big sister, so kind of like a third parent. No throwing bricks in the house. No throwing or swinging axe handles in the house. No IEDs in the backyard without supervision. Okay, that one was for me too. No 5-finger fillet. The taser is not a toy. I have an interesting family. Story 24. Don't rub your wiener on the dog. Don't rub your wiener on mom's leg. Don't rub your wiener on the stairs. For the love of gods, kids, don't rub your wieners on the furniture. Might help to give them a list of places they can rub their wieners. I tried that and it was not effective. Story 25. If you wake up, you take a nap. To stop brothers from waking other brothers from a much-needed nap, which only leads to much more crankiness and turmoil, I had to strictly enforce the rule that the nap waker became the nap taker. He who wakes it, takes it. Story 26. There shall be no slapping of your wiener against the shower curtain. You cannot make this up. Every time he went to take a shower, all I heard was thwop, 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 thwop. Now I know what I'm doing today. I have a glass panel instead of a shower curtain. Story 27. Do not eat the dog food from the dog dish like a dog. Also, do not take off your pants, bend over, and spread your cheeks and show people your bum. But Chin Chan did it. To be a man, you must have honor. Honor and a wiener. Story 28. No flicking the hamster's enormous nuts. Seriously, why are they so big? Just imagine the finger of your god slowly reaching down towards you, quite possibly to bestow some amazing and likely edible gift, then suddenly, faster than you can process, it slams straight into your nuts. Story 30. If you're going to go potty outside, you go in the bushes. You don't poop in the feed bucket, you don't poop in the front yard, and you don't poop in front of others. And when you're done, you wipe with a leaf, not grass. Shine your shoes, wipe your grass. Story 31. No watching corn and jerking off at the breakfast table, even if your little brother can't see you doing it. This was a repeatable offense, which told us our kid wasn't responsible enough for a smartphone. He now has a flip phone. Story 32. At Walmart, in the frozen food section, I had to tell my son, stop licking the glass, on more than one occasion. He was 2 years old, now 3, and would lick the condensation off the inside of the freezer doors. Story 33. Probably too late for anyone to see this, but we had to have a no farting in people's faces rule growing up after my older brother pinned my younger brother down to fart in his face, but accidentally pooped on his face. Story 34. No using protractors to try to cheat at pool. Immediately followed by no protractors at the pool table, period. And no using Jedi mind tricks to try to get out of rules. Story 35. No beating off with your bedroom door open, even if you think your sister and mother are asleep. Just this week, mid-afternoon after school, I'll take things my parents never had to tell me for $1,000, Alex. Story 36. Do not spray sunscreen in the toaster oven. Do not pour a whole bottle of dish liquid in the toilet. Lastly, do not pour cooking oil all over the kitchen floor so you can slide around in it. Story 37. Don't call the neighbors gnomes, especially to their faces. Hummus isn't a replacement for milk on cereal. Stop trying to dig up the dog. I don't care if it's for science. Story 38. No dabbing while reading. As a parent of teenagers, this literally made me laugh out loud. Sadly enough, my wife had to say this to our 6-year-old daughter. Story 39. No pee-pees out at Grandma's house. I don't mind the waist-down nudity in the privacy of our own home, and I know it's just natural curiosity and exploration, but for God's sake, child, there's a time and a place for pee-pees, and Grandma's living room is not it. Story 40. Another one, no farting when you're sick. Kids thought it was safe to fart, and they kept pooping their pants, like multiple times. Never, ever trust a fart, Morty. Story 41. I was banned from tying my judo belts together because I kept abseiling from my bedroom window. The best bit was using my chubby brother as an anchor. Story 42. We don't poke each other in the butthole. Not in the bath. Not ever. Or at least not until you're 18 and have permission from your partner. Story 43. Only pee, poo, and toilet paper go in the toilet. Thankfully, the lesson was learned at the cost of a toothbrush, not a plumbing bill. Story 44. No putting yourself in timeout. For frick's sake, why are you crying and sitting on the bottom step of the stairs? Just let yourself out of timeout. Story 45. No sticking your food between your toes. Seriously, stop holding your dang carrots between your toes and then eating them. Why, that sounds awesome. Story 46. Don't play with your wiener in the living room. No, you cannot go wave at your dad from the driveway with no clothes on. Story 47. No daring your little brothers to eat cat poop. No eating cat poop on a dare. But eating cat poop independently is fine. Story 48. My son has a thing for nipples. He's always playing with them. Mommy's nipples, daddy's nipples, complete strangers, to him's, nipples. Story 49. The battle to get my son to stop playing with his balls while talking to us was longer than any American conflict in history. Story 50. Stay out of the rhino cage at the zoo. Portland, Oregon, circa 1994. And no, I am not making this up. Story 51. No machetes on the trampoline. So, no fun? I had the same rule growing up. Are you my brother? Story 52. No peeing off the front porch during daylight hours. I made it for me, and I still break it. Story 53. My mom had to instate a helmets must be worn on laundry day rule when we were kids. Story 54. No rollerblading inside the apartment. Like, really? You thought that was a good idea? Story 55. Family and friends, when buying gifts for my kids, no toys that, vibrate, please. Story 56. It's been a while, but no Pop-Tarts in the VCR was one I hadn't anticipated. Story 57. After the second ceiling fan replacement, no full golf swings in your room. Story 58. No saying Santa in air quotes. Your sister still believes, darn it. Story 59. Today I learned a lot of parents have to make weird poop rules. Story 60. Don't empty 50 quids worth of change down the toilet. Story 61. No political commentary at school. My son is 7. Story 62. To stop doing the derp walk in Walmart. Story 63. Stop licking the kittens. Stop licking wussy. Fix this for you. Story 64. No crayons in the butter. Please leave your stories in the comments. I'd love to make a video of them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.